Hi, this is Apostle Dr. Jewel Williams here with our marriage moment. And as I stated, I am talking to you today through the same scripture that I talked through with the wisdom moment. And if you saw the wisdom moment, if it was a little wonky, it's like, why was I trying to record and phone ringing, stuff happening? But hopefully I got through it. Anyway, so I'm going to read the scripture, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now, today I'm going to talk about it in terms of marriage. And I want to talk about it from this point that God's strength is the source of our strength. The all things here refers to the task God calls us to do. And then we can find strength to be content, face trials, live faithfully, and even when facing lack or plenty. Why is that important in marriage? Because if you've been married any amount of time, and you don't even have to be married a long time, you're going to go through these ups and downs. There's times when someone may be sick. There's times when your job is well and you're making money. There's times when things happen and your finances are off. There's things when children are sick. There's things when just there could be some turmoil in the midst of your marriage, or there could just be some bumpy roads. And so we need to be able to take all of those things in this regard. We're talking about the things that are related to marriage, all of the things in marriage to help me be a good wife, to be a good mother, to be a good example of Christ about what marriage looks like. Because one of the things I want us to understand as Christian believers, your marriage is not just about you and your spouse, but your marriage is also about God. How are we showing God to other people through our marriage? How can God use our marriage as a testimony to draw others to us? How can God use us as a light to draw other people that would want to desire to be married? I hear so many people say, ooh, I've watched, and you fill in the blank, marriage, and I don't want a marriage like that. Or you hear people say, Christian folks' marriage, they get divorced and remarried more frequently, or just like the world. So what's the difference? Why is your marriage different when you say you have Christ? Unfortunately, we're flawed humans. That's not God's fault. That's us. But this is why we need to go here, so that we can do all the things that are related to marriage. And what did I say that again? So we can do the things to find strength to be content. You got to learn how to find strength to be content in your marriage, so that you don't get, quote unquote, the 7-year itch where you want to go out and explore and do all this other stuff because you feel like you're missing something. You ain't missed nothing. That's why you got married in the first place, because there wasn't nothing else out there. You got the best thing you got. Learn how to be content. Learn how to face trials, how to learn how to deal with conflict biblically. You need Christ to strengthen you so that you can live faithfully, live a faithful life as a husband, that you can stay faithful to your wife. A wife can stay faithful to a husband. You ain't got to slip and dip and do all this and trip. You ain't got to do all of that. And you can face those times when there's lack, and then also when there's plenty. Because just because there's plenty don't mean that you're going to handle it biblically. You got to make sure that God helps you to not lose your mind, even when God is blessing you with abundance. So my marriage moment is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, when we realize that Christ is the source of our strength. You and I need to make sure that God is the one, that Christ is the one that we're relying on how we show up from day to day in our role as spouse, husband, wife, mother, or father. So let God strengthen you today. God bless.